Subtracting signed fractions. This is going to be very similar to what we just did in subtracting fractions. The difference is if we see a negative sign in our problem at all, then what we want to first do is convert this to its equivalent addition problem. So I see that negative sign, and I'm going to rewrite this problem as negative 10 over 9. The subtraction becomes an addition, and this positive 5 becomes a negative 5. So now I have negative 10 over 9 plus negative 5 over 12. And I know the rule for adding integers says that if they're the same sign, and they are, they're both negative, then I have to add and keep the sign. Next step is if I'm adding fractions, I know I need a common denominator. So I need a common denominator between 9 and 12. Well, we may want to start with our largest denominator, 12, and just find a few multiples. After 12 comes 24. After 24 comes 36. And I stop there because I know that 9 times 4 is also 36. So 12 times 3 is 36, and 9 times 4 is 36. Now I say negative 10 times 4, that's negative 40 over 36, plus negative 5 times 3 is negative 15 over 36. When I look at this now, I've got negative 40 plus negative 15, so I add and keep the sign. That's going to be negative 55 over 36. Well, now I need to know how many times 36 can go into 55. Well, 1 times 36 is 36, so I know it'll go in at least one time. If I do 2 times 36, that's going to give me 72. And 72 is larger than 55, so it will not go in twice. So it's 36 is going to go into 55 once. Now I want to know how many more 36s I need. Well, I'm trying to get from 36 to 55. So if I subtract, I can find out what the difference between those two numbers is. 5 minus 6 I cannot do, so I have to borrow. 15 minus 6 is going to give me 9, and 4 minus 3 is going to give me 1. So I have 19 over 36. But remember, my answer was negative, so I don't want to forget my negative sign. Now I look at my problem, and it's negative 1 and 19 over 36. Well, I need to know whether 19 over 36 will reduce. So the question is there a factor of 19 in 36? Well, if I look at 36, that's 6 times 6. There's definitely no factors of 19 there. So I'm done. In example 2, I have this negative sign, so I want to change this into its equivalent addition problem. So I've got negative 7 over 15. That subtraction becomes addition, and my positive 5 becomes negative 5. Now once again, I've got a negative plus a negative. So if they're the same sign, I'm going to add and keep the sign. Alright, I need a common denominator between 15 and 9. So maybe I'd start by finding the multiples of 15. After 15 comes 30. After 30 comes 45. I'm going to stop there because I know that 9 times 5 is also 45. So 15 times 3 is 45, and 9 times 5 is 45. So negative 7 times 3 is negative 21 over 45, plus negative 5 times 5 is negative 25 over 45. Common denominator stays, so we keep our 45. And negative 21 plus negative 25 is negative 46. Well, we know that 45 will go into 46 once with a remainder of 1. So this is going to be negative 1 and 1 over 45. The other way of thinking about that is that 46 over 45 can be broken up into 45 over 45 plus 1 over 45. 45 over 45 is our whole. So we get 1 and 1 over 45. But of course our answer is negative. So we've got negative 1 and 1 over 45. In example 3, we've got 2/3 minus negative 5/7. And what I actually want to do right here is come back and make this one negative as well. I meant to make that negative in the beginning. So if we've got any negative signs in our problem, we want to change it into an equivalent addition problem. So we keep our negative 2/3, subtraction becomes addition, and this negative becomes positive, so we get positive 5/7. Next, when I look at this, I know I've got a negative plus a positive, so they're different signs, which means I'm going to subtract and keep the sign of the number with the larger magnitude. But before I have my common denominator, I don't really know which number is going to have the larger magnitude. So I need the common denominator between 3 and 7, and that's going to be 21. So 3 times 7 is 21, and 7 times 3 is 21. So that gives me negative 2 times 7 is negative 14 over 21, plus 5 times 3 is 15 over 21. So we keep our common denominator of 21, and then we've got negative 14 plus 15. So we know we need to subtract and keep the sign of the larger magnitude. 15 minus 14 is 1, and the 15 is positive, so my answer is positive. We get positive 1 over 21.